I have been called many things in my lifetime, and I don't really care. You can call me a witch, or a bitch, or whatever you like. It won't change a thing. I won't be going away. I have stumbled, quite by chance, upon this magical land of Carolinian forest, majestic cliff, and limestone parapet. I have found a home that has answered the calling of my wayward soul. I will stay here until my final breath. And I'll be damned if I'll let one of you developers on this property or acquiesce to any politician that demands an inch of this land for commercial purposes. You can all go straight to hell. And that's not a nice place to be. I know because I've been there. For a time, I lived a hellish existence, and this small forest became my savior, my private paradise. Of course, when I was younger, I already thought I was in paradise. I was born into privilege and comfort and had every material item I ever demanded. And I demanded a lot. And then one cruel day, it all changed. Everything changed. Our home was no longer ours. You've lost everything?
Yes.
I don't understand. You look after the finances. How did this happen?
I wasn't as clever as I thought I was.
But we still have our savings.
No, our savings are gone.
And the home?
Gone.
And you?
I'm sorry, Margaret.
Where are you going? Where the hell are you going? Oh, damn, what was that? It's only a small tree, it's nothing important. And so, in an instant, my life changed. I jumped in the Porsche and pursued him in a blind rage. And no sooner had I set out when the heavens opened and a deluge began. I could barely navigate and ended up traveling along Lakeshore Road, desperately trying to catch up. And then it happened, in front of a hospital. The car slid off the road, and although it was undamaged, I must have banged my head. I don't really recall.
Don't move, please. Stay still. I'm a doctor. I'm going to help you. You can be fine.
A doctor? Where am I?
You're in the Joseph Brandt Hospital. Do you remember what happened? The accident that you wandered in here by yourself, though.
No, I don't remember anything.
Can you tell me your name, please?
My name?
Yes. Who are you?
Who am I? Well, that's a very good question.
You don't remember?
Of course I remember. My name is Margaret.
And your last name, your married name?
I don't think that still applies any longer.
Look, just wait here for a moment, okay? We'll get someone to help you to a room. You just stay here for one moment, please.
Needless to say, I didn't remain. I got back out into my car and headed out along the highway, not knowing where I was going. I passed Stony Creek and Grimsby, totally lost in the storm. I ended up heading south until I could go no further. I had reached the base of the mighty Niagara escarpment. Physically and mentally, I had gone as far as I could. I took refuge in an old, unused house. It was in wretched shape. The sort of place that, just a short time before, I would have never even looked at, let alone gone into. It was simple, Spartan, and lacked any of the basic comforts. It was abandoned and alone, as was I. And as I huddled in the cold that night in complete despair, the question the doctor asked me went through my mind over and over again. Who was I? Who was Margaret Reed? And I couldn't answer. For whoever she was gone. It was time to face reality. The next morning, I awoke with new eyes. Physically, I was a wreck, but spiritually, I was reborn. And oh, that morning was glorious. The rain had stopped, the sun was shining, and I have never seen nor smelt a day as fresh and green as that one. And as I stepped out to discover this new paradise, I noticed a small sapling that had been damaged during the storm. It was bent and broken, and I felt a kindred spirit. I don't really know how or why, but at that moment, repairing that small tree became the most important thing in my life. Nothing else mattered. And as I finished my repairs, I felt a sense of accomplishment unlike any other. I looked around at this brave new world and realized for the first time in my life, this was where I really belonged. This was who I am. The rest is elementary, really. I sold the contents of my former home and bought this very property. The only living being I still valued was my pinto pony, and I arranged to have her stabled nearby. Eventually, I acquired 2 new members of the household, a pair of stray cats. I named them Winnie and Nelson. They became my protectors and confidants. It was now time to heal, and all was tranquil until...
Excuse me, gentlemen, excuse me. I'd like to start the meeting now. Thank you. Take a seat, please. Take a seat. First item on our agenda is the proposed expropriation of the land at the base of the escarpment at Cave Springs. This land will be slated for commercial purposes. A vote of council will now be taken. All those in favor of expropriation? Very good. Yeah, very good. Okay, and now those opposed? Excellent, excellent. Just as I thought it would be. A majority in favor. Therefore, it is my great pleasure to announce that this land will now be used for commercial...
Mr. Chairman, I have not voted yet.
What? Excuse me? Who are you?
I'm a local resident, and I vote against.
A local resident. Well, only members of council are allowed to vote, not local residents.
True, but we can express our disapproval at public hearing.
This isn't a public hearing. This is a council meeting.
I know. And council cannot vote until a public hearing is called. And you haven't called one yet. You cannot expropriate that land until the public has their say.
Nonsense. This meeting is perfectly legal. This vote is binding, and you are expelled from this hall. Security! Security!
And you will not set foot on that land.
No? And why not?
Because it is my land, and I forbid it.
You forbid it. You forbid it. Who the hell do you think you are, you stupid bitch?
Mr. Chairman, for the record, I am neither stupid nor a bitch.
Well, then who are you?
I am Margaret Reed, and I am unlike anyone you have ever faced before. I am not afraid of you.
Well, who do you represent?
I represent all of nature, all of the outdoors.
Are you mad?
No, but I am angry.
You're out of order.
And
Out
you
of order.
have already lost.
This meeting is adjourned. You'll pay for this, Reed.
And so the gauntlet was thrown and the battle was on. Needless to say, when the dust finally settled, I won. My land was never expropriated, and here I remain to continue my new work. And my life is full. I protect and add to the forest. I lecture and educate both young and old. And when needed, I also deal with the press.
Mrs. Reed, how do you feel now that you've finally gotten the council to back down?
Justified.
And how is your standing in the community?
Solidified.
And your feelings on the new educational programs?
Satisfied.
Is it true that you're a witch? That's what people on the council called you.
Well, the people on the council have called me a lot of things. But that's an interesting concept. A witch. What were witches historically? Healers, teachers, scapegoats? I'll tell you what they were. They were women with power. That's why they were feared and hunted. I have power. The power of my convictions. That's why the council fears me. I'm not quiet and demure and willing to sit on a shelf. I did once upon a time, but not any longer. So if the council or the conservation board or anyone else wants to call me a witch, I accept that and turn it back upon them. Yes, I am a witch. I am the witch of Cave Springs, and I am 300 years old. I am timeless because of the restorative powers of the pure water of Cave Springs, because of the constant regrowth of this forest land. And I will live forever in the shining eyes of the children I empower every day. And I will be here for all time. When I leave this life, you will find my image still every spring when the moss grows on the rocks of Cave Springs. My beloved Cave Springs, where you will find me forever.